the award-winning podcast that features interviews with luminaries of the mind-body-spirit marketplace. You'll hear from book authors and publishers, store owners and product creators, filmmakers, musicians, and many more, who'll all share insight and wisdom to help open your eyes to new creative possibilities. If you fancy yourself as a visionary thinker, then Chatcast is the place for you. Now, here's your host, spiritual empath, shaman, and best-selling author, Tracee Dunblazier.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in with us here at Chatcast. I have a very special guest today, Dr. Joan Hangarter. I hope I said that right. People know her as Dr. Joan of Angels, and she's a visionary artist, intuitive guide, and transformational healer. She's dedicated to helping people awaken their highest potential. And as a doctor of chiropractic with a master's in counseling, she blends spiritual wisdom with practical solutions for healing and empowerment. Through her art, teachings, and media presence, she inspires miracles and guides individuals to reclaim their divine purpose. And just you'll see at the crawler underneath, Dr. Joan of joanofangels.com is where you can find her after the show. Welcome, Joan. So good to see you.
It is so great to be on your show, Tracee. I love seeing you every year at the Conscious Life Expo.
Yes.
Every year we get a little closer. It's great.
We do, because it's been, I was looking at it, it's been at least 10 years now that we have been crossing paths, and every year we say, hey, did we meet?
Right. Yeah. No, we have. And so every time, I've come by your booth, I've seen you move from downstairs to upstairs. It's great.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So you are a woman of many paths. You do so many different things. It's really phenomenal. So tell us a little more about all the different things that you do.
Well, let me tell you the theme behind everything I do.
Okay.
The theme behind everything I do is that when I was 30, I was given this vision that I was here to heal and inspire and awaken millions of people to who they are and why they're here, mm-hmm. and to help them live their best life. So in that message here, the way I do that is I do that through my readings and sessions with people, my coaching sessions mm-hmm. with people. I help you release your challenges, your obstacles, see your best version of yourself. But then I can also do it through the artwork. So years ago, I was told to paint angels. I began painting angels, which is how I got named Joan of Angels. So I also have artwork that supports you in your vibrational uplifting journey.
You know, art, man, for me, I do feng shui, and like around my house, I have every year, like this gal, see that gal?
Wow.
Every year I do I see something and I see myself in it, and that's my guiding light. And I change this art piece every year for feng shui purposes, but just to really connect. Hi, Miriam, nice to see you. Just to reconnect with myself and all the different changes that go on, because we change every minute of every day, honestly. So when you talk to people, how do you think about those changes, and how do you roll with them?
I should start by saying I'm a Pisces.
Okay, so you flow.
I'm a Pisces. I have learned adaptability, swim in the river, even obstacles, learning how to dissolve them, go around them, go over them, or pretend they don't exist. I mean, honestly, the strategies are for me, especially since 2020, is if I don't understand what's going on, just chop wood, carry water, and be back in the present moment, which ultimately gets you to the higher dimension. But that's how we do it. You have to learn to go, okay, next, and not to take it so personally. The universe is not against you. It is for you. It wants you to succeed. Right. And so when you start to separate and step back and go, okay, it's not the universe against me. I'm not a bad person.
Right.
It's different. Then you can separate and get back on track, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the idea of chop wood, carry water. That's like a Buddhist theorem. Many cultures actually embody that. But chopping wood and carrying water is is moving forward one step at a time. Whatever your next task is, whatever your next word is, just speak it out. Just do it. Just do that next little thing, and be proud of those little moments, because it is the little moments, I think, that create the big change. So what is the biggest change that you've experienced in your life, and how did you get through it?
Holy moly.
Is that too personal?
Yeah, it's a huge personal question, because, I've lost everything twice. So
Wow.
in my life, I can go on stage and say, well, I've recovered. I've lost everything twice. I've learned to manage and go on. So the
Wow.
first time I lost my chiropractic office because I could no longer practice, and it changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
And really changed that direction from hands-on work to, intuitive guidance, basically.
Right.
And so that was really the really first switch that happened. And the second time, I just prayed for miracles. Was told to paint 33 angels in 30 days, so I did. And that transformed my life and uplifted
Yes.
it into the higher frequencies.
Yeah.
But I think the key is to listen to the guidance,
Mm-hmm.
always to listen to that guidance that you get. It will direct you.
Joan, I live in Pasadena near the fire zone. And while my home was not affected by flames, it was certainly affected by ash. And, what was so profound was it knocked the wind out of me, because there was a complete and total loss of safety.
Mm-hmm.
The fear, like when you get you're this fear of losing everything. And there are so many people who did in fact lose everything just, a couple of miles away from me. And so many people right now on the planet are in fact experiencing that. And I love what you said about praying for miracles, because I know that is one of the strategies that I've used, is to believe that no matter where I'm at, there's some other place, there's some other thing, there's something awaiting me, that I am being prepared and awakened and excavated, just really opened up, so that I can see that thing, see that opportunity. So praying for a miracle should not be underrated.
No, it is actually needed. And I have prayed for miracles my entire life. In fact, I wrote a book called The Miracle Makers Club.
Nice.
And I just updated it this summer. And I went through a little bit of a challenge this summer. And here I was sitting there, kind of freaked out, because I found myself in Florida in the middle of all the hurricanes. And I just was a mess.
Yeah.
But here I am rewriting my book, because I was updating it to re-release it. And
right.
So I'm like looking at the book. I hadn't looked at it since 2005. And it's like, oh my God, it's a good book. And I'm doing the processes. And I discovered that it was the fastest way to get out of it is, I swear, reread what you've written.
Yes.
Especially for you, Tracee,
yes.
or anyone out there, and then just move forward. But my philosophy really has gotten basic. It's really, if you don't know what to do, just put one foot in front of your one foot in front of the other until you get clear.
Put one foot in front of whatever happens to be there. Just stick it out there. Just keep going.
And say yes.
And say yes.
Say yes to the guidance you're receiving. Just don't,
And everybody receives guidance. I think that's something that's important, is that, we all have ways in which spirit speaks to us, whether it's the synchronicities outside of us, whether it's, somebody interjecting themselves into your life when you're at the coffee shop, or, whether you hear voices or have dreams or whatever. So what ways does spirit speak to you? We know art is one and writing is one.
So I get messages all the time. The first time I remember I booked 4 readings, and I'm going to drive to go do them. I had never done 4 readings. I'm like, oh my God. And a truck drives, a van goes right in front of me at the light. It's Angel Maids. So when that happens, or you pass a street sign, Miracle Lane, there's like a message direct to us. So I often get messages just like that.
Nice.
But honestly, I get downloads, and that's the most exciting thing, is when you get downloads and you can confirm them with the client, and you're in the right page. So, I'm an intuitive.
Absolutely. So, um, define for people what a download is, because that's that's a thing that we all talk about. But what is that? Like, what does that mean?
Well, just like on the computer, you're sitting there and you go, oh my God, I love this article. I better save it. And you click
Yes.
download and it saves. A
Yes.
download is a message that comes to us that is a guidance, or it's a feeling, or it's words, or it's a thought. So I
Mm-hmm.
might get a download talking to you, or I might get
Right.
information that's coming, so that we can call it information that's coming through that needs to either be written down or shared
Mm-hmm.
to be remembered. There's
Yeah.
something, there's a clue in there for you.
Yeah. And I really like that, because one of the things that I've experienced is sometimes, it really is like you are downloading an entire packet of information. It's usually not just one word or one phrase or one picture. It like could be a whole chapter of a book. And so it's something that you have to process over time,
Right.
right? There could be a larger message that once you start to write it or speak it out, that it becomes so much more than you could recognize when it was happening.
Right. And it just
Yeah.
keeps pouring out of you.
Yeah.
It's almost like you become blithering. It just pours out of you. You can't
Yes.
stop. And
Yes.
that's because it's coming from a higher source, and it's information for you to process and or share. It
Yeah.
can come in artwork. So when I channel artwork, now the funnest thing is when I started painting these 33 angels in 30 days, because I'm not an artist.
Right.
And I would close my eyes and I would just do this. I'd turn the canvas upside down and
Uh-huh.
just see what came out.
Yeah.
And it's also an act of faith. So
Yes.
channeling is also an act of faith, or downloading could be,
Yes.
similar.
I
So,
took a channeling class one time. This is way back in the beginning, when I was just beginning. I was born this way, but I had never done it publicly. And this woman that I worked with had a channeling class, and she's like, "Why don't you come?" And I'm like, "Sure." So we all sat in a circle. There are almost 20 of us, and this one guy starts to they asked, "Who are you channeling?" And he says, "Mother Mary." And then he's like, "Oh no, I can't do Mother Mary." Oh, and he burst into tears, and he got so upset because he couldn't believe that he was channeling Mother Mary. And anyway, it was when we got around to me, I just burst out laughing. Like it was this uncontrollable laugh. I was the second person. I went after the Mother Mary guy, who's like in tears now, and I burst out laughing. And then everybody burst out laughing, and that totally shifted the whole thing. Like, it's like, okay, yes, 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 Mother Mary, yes, laughter, yes, just yes, whatever it is. Like, if you can let the first word out, the rest will follow, and it will mean something to you in a way that you can't fathom when you're starting. Do you know what I mean?
right. And you said a key word, let the first word out.
Yes.
In other words, don't hold it back and go, I can't say anything. I can't say anything.
Exactly. This
You
can't be
have to,
true.
you have to pour it out. You have to
Yeah.
release it. If you can do that, you're right.
Yeah. And I think that for a lot of people, they're risking being crazy. How do you have you ever experienced that? Like, have you ever thought, "Oh my God, I can't risk having other people think I'm out of my mind"?
Well, I don't know if it's quite like that, but I do have that. For instance, light language. Okay, I can do light language by myself, but I ain't gonna do light language here.
Right.
Okay, even though I've been forced to at other times, it's like there's a certain for me, it's almost like an embarrassment,
Yeah.
or there's a huge embarrassment about certain things. So I have to be
It's a
really
huge awareness.
careful. Huge awareness. I will channel online if I have to.
Right.
I do readings online in the spur of
Hmm.
the moment, but nevertheless, I was always shy about this. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, that we have to look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I experienced that too with my writing. I felt it was originally supposed to be one book. It was the first two books that I was one big book, almost 500 pages, that I just chopped in half. And I was terrified. I went through about 2 months of just being terrified of some sort of recourse.
Hmm.
I didn't know what that could be, because I'm not really I don't really care if people make fun of me. I've been made fun of my whole life. I have 2 older sisters, and that's just how we did it. So that doesn't bother me. But that the whole, people are going to know the truth. They're going to know your truth. And if you're being honest, it feels like there's a lot more to protect. Protecting yourself from other people's judgment.
Interesting.
Is that an experience that you had?
Well, ever since I became a chiropractor, I was already on the other side.
Okay.
So I had to stand up to doctors, medical doctors, and
Yes.
kind of looking at what's controversial or what's conspiracy or alternative. And so
Yes.
I've been alternative my whole life, and I just decided to go with that. I mean,
Yes.
I started studying astrology and numerology at 16.
Mm-hmm.
I never ever really went into a corporate world. I just really enjoyed my own world that came out of healing people and being able to do that. So I was in an alternative world. However, I still haven't done my light language publicly. So that tells you that I still have my own, because channeling was the hardest thing for me to do.
Right.
It was hard for me to get that first word,
to
actually say it. So it wasn't that things weren't coming through. There were downloads trying to get in, but I was remaining closed. And that really shut me down in that way.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I can't explain exactly what it was, but yeah, I'm aware of that.
Absolutely.
But Tracee, just to be full disclosure, the idea that I actually speak in public, if you had told me as a kid I'd be a speaker, that I would actually put my hand up to go first and go out there and host shows and do all that, that's a major miracle.
Yeah.
I don't know when that switch happened, but I can go on stage, and even if I don't know what I'm talking about, I can actually pull it off.
Right.
And that is a miracle. So I'm into the miracle. Everything's a miracle to me.
Certainly everything is a miracle, for sure. For those of you who don't know, light language, another word for it, or another phrase about it, is speaking in tongues. So it's making sounds. It's speaking a language that you are unfamiliar with, and trusting it enough to come through.
Yeah, and trusting it enough to come through. But it's in a way, it's similar to doing readings for people.
Yes.
When you do readings for people, you sit there and information comes, and there's a trusting enough to share it with your person.
Yes. Absolutely.
And even that was an art form, to have the confidence to do that.
Yes. Yeah. I got my start doing readings, publicly in the public as a gift with purchase for a fragrance company. And so that was, and interestingly enough, those folks were more than grateful. And every experience was amazing. But when I started working at a bookstore doing, as a reader, oh my goodness, people can be mean. You know what I mean? They can be mean. They can be mad. You can trigger them, and it's a thing. So there's a whole, you're stuck in this itty bitty room with somebody, and there is this whole possibility of confrontation if they don't like what you're saying. And that, the possibility, I think, is true for everybody. Not everyone may experience that, for sure, but have you ever, what's the biggest pushback you've ever had from a client? And how did you handle it?
I don't know so much client, but I remember the first time I was at a show. It was Robert Quicksilver. It was up north. It was the Wisdom Festival. And the first time I'm ever doing readings in public like this, guy comes up to me and he says, "You'll never be able to read me. Never be able to read me." And of course he pays me to try to read him. And I realized, and now I'm sweating. I'm just like, oh my God, I won't be able to read him. I won't be able to read him. And I'm really kind of flipping out, but somehow I managed to do it. I just managed, and in the end, he was so surprised and so happy.
Yes.
That it really worked out. I think some people are hard to read. They don't want you to see into them, or they want the help, but they don't want the help.
Well, they're vulnerable. They don't like to feel vulnerable.
Yeah, I've never had anyone angry at me about a reading, because honestly, I'm just as grateful as they are that it's coming through.
Yes.
So,
Um, I one time there's a woman who is a colleague of ours. She's not. I don't think she's ever done the Conscious Life Expo, but she's been she's an OG in the industry. She's been around for a long, long
uh-huh.
time, and she was going to be doing a show, and she brought a TV crew to my office at the time and wanted me to do a reading for her as an audition for her show. And this has never happened to me before. I sat there and okay, she's sitting across from me, and it was exact that same vibe of, you're not going to be able to read me. Let's see what you can do, young blood. And the I closed my eyes and the screen just went white. There was nothing, zero. Like it was at a vibration that I had never read before. Usually I'm an empath, so I usually can pick up on somebody's feelings and emotions, but she honestly did not really have them. So, and it was the first experience, the shock and awe of like, okay, I'm going to be reading from another place than I've read from before. So I called on it and it channeled through and it was good. They gave me some specific names and whatever that made her go, oh, okay, great. But man, that the terror of not having that blank space, blank
Yeah,
space can be a terrifying foe.
right. Either on the radio or doing readings. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't do my readings like that. I usually, um, I mean, I can, but I don't. I usually do
Right.
my readings. I get people more information about people, like
Uh-huh.
their year and date of birth. So I use that
Okay.
to trigger my readings.
Okay.
It sort of helps me open up a file cabinet,
Yes.
and then I'm in.
Yes.
So that's part of it. It's so funny. These are guys. This is the secrets to good readings.
Yes, exactly. Take notes.
Take notes, yeah, because both been doing it for a long time. It's in our
Absolutely.
blood. Yeah.
So if you had a well, and I know you do, if you had a message for people today I mean, this is a weird time. This is a profound time. This is a deeply unsettling time on a lot of levels. And so without just light and loving it, you know what I mean? Because it's good to be positive, but what how do you suggest people get through this time?
Well,
Or what
we're in an
perspective?
in-between zone. We're still in an in-between zone. We're out of the 2020, but we're into a new unfolding of what will become of ourselves, our personal destiny, our global destiny, our national destiny.
Yeah.
And intertwining with, and this is really when it's happening, intertwining with the destinies of all the other people and the countries here on the planet. So we're in this in between zone where it's almost, and there's been so many falsehoods on the planet, misconceptions, deceptions, that a lot of it is breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're experiencing is twofold. We're experiencing the downfall of the old,
Mm-hmm.
of the tried and true and stagnant, and some of the dark energies. Because listen,
Right.
we've been in a fight of dark and light. So the fight is right today.
Mm-hmm.
Just like this little, we have a little black thing there. It's like so clear that so many of the dark energies have come out. We're now fighting them,
Mm-hmm.
dismantling
Yeah.
systems that have held us captive. And it is a frightening time, because when you destroy and you break down, until that moment of building,
Right.
there's a fear, there's a lack of, and it feels like chaos, but it's really not. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we started and we're laughing about chop wood, carry water,
Yeah.
actually, in those kinds of times when you don't see the big picture, but you know something big is happening, you really get back to your basics, go back
Mm-hmm.
to your meditation, your basics, to get
Mm-hmm.
your clarity in who you are. But know that these are the times for which people like us have been called.
Yeah.
And so as we go through this, just know that your best gifts are now being heightened
Yes.
for today's world,
Yes.
and necessary and really important. And so you have everything you need. You have all
Absolutely.
the skills you need. And
Yes.
so don't hide. Just
Mm-hmm.
keep, just keep listening, moving forward one step at a time. But we're going to be entering into a brand new time on planet Earth, the one that we've
Yeah.
been praying for.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it looks messy. It feels messy.
Yes. I like it. So Dr. Jones says, keep it simple and be useful.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love it. You're better than the AI. You know how they
You're welcome.
we're getting the
Yeah.
show summary right here.
Yes, here's the show summary. Keep it simple and be useful. Because there's a lot of stuff that we can do that's not really useful.
Right.
And I
so
think
that's,
I think people are really having their values that they have held their entire lives. They don't know anything else, but everything that they are or have been taught is being challenged on levels unexperienced before. So it's okay to change your values. It's okay to change your beliefs. It's okay to deepen your understanding, and keep it simple and be useful.
Yeah, and it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
There's a theory, a lot of people, as a chiropractor, I was always told I was a conspiracy theorist because I was always looking out for your health.
Right.
What do you do to get healthy? And
Yes.
so I moved to Mexico like 10 years ago, or I don't remember how long, 15 years ago. And when I was there, I decided I was going to use whatever I could find in my kitchen to stay healthy.
Uh-huh.
Any herbs, tinctures, and I started creating them, using them, and I have never looked back in terms of what can we do to be the healthiest we can do. Now, I don't know why
Yes.
I'm telling you that, but it's a matter of taking charge. So I'm not a conspiracy person. What I am is a coincidence theorist. I look at really what works.
Right.
Use what works,
Well,
Look for
and
the things that work. People that work for you, people that are what I call miracle allies as opposed to miracle busters.
right.
Go into the light. Go into the light. Understand that you're here to be your best self because you're going to be of service to other people who don't know, who know less than
Right.
you.
Right.
They don't know what you know, or just chop wood, carry water, then they think you really know what you're doing because look how
Right.
calm you are and
Right.
staying in the face. But those are
Absolutely.
strategies to get through the next few months. This is going to continue till the end of the year. And at rapid pace
Yeah.
changes in everything. And it's happening. The government's changing everything above us.
Mm-hmm.
But here below, as we go through it, know that these changes are being made to remove the dark forces here on the planet so that we can shine our light.
Right.
Bright.
Yeah.
Bright as we can. And that's your job. That's our mission.
Yes.
To shine no matter what.
Yes. You know what? That is where we are ending our show today because there is nothing else to say.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
Shine bright, my friend. Shine bright.
Shine bright out there. And Joan, thank you so much. And for all of you, tune in, go see Joan at joanofangels.com. Book a session. Go see her. She's public everywhere. So go see her at one of her events. She's absolutely just engaging and interesting and funny as hell. So thanks again, Joan. So good to see you. And I cannot wait till we see each other again in person.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for tuning into Chatcast.